Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with StraightSmile Solutions, StraightSmileSolutions.com. And today we're going to talk about something about breaking up with your orthodontist. Now, I've done this from the other direction. Some of my videos are doctor facing. That means they're kind of more meant for doctors, although patients sometimes find them interesting. Some of my videos are meant more for the consumer or the patient. So this one is going to be from the consumer or the patient standpoint. So I actually had a question on our Facebook group yesterday. Someone said, just not happy with my daughter's treatment. It's taking too long. We're over 2 years now. They posted some pictures. It just looked like it's being really slow. And who knows? I mean, listen, I'm going to tell you from the orthodontist standpoint. We come, we see you, we take some x-rays, we do a clinical evaluation. We give an estimate of how long we think a treatment will take. So sometimes we're right on. Sometimes things go faster. Sometimes things go slower. Doesn't mean that we're wrong necessarily, but it's an estimate. Some people's teeth move faster, some people's teeth move slower. It really depends on so many different variables, not only from root length to compliance, how often you show up, if you do what we asked you to do, did you wear the elastics correctly, did you miss some appointments? With COVID, everything's taking longer, right? Because we lost a lot for people in braces. We lost a lot of appointments just because of the rules that the states made. Some dentists listened to the rules and some didn't care and we're still seeing their patients, whatever. We know now that that was probably fine. But some orthodontists were following the rules a little bit more than others. So, you can't fault your orthodontist for following the rules. What else? Sometimes your bone is more dense or ossified than other people's bone, and those treatments are going to take a little bit slower. Sometimes we can kind of see it in an x-ray, but most likely not. We don't really know until it happens, right? So there's a lot of different variables that go into how long something's going to take. Of course, sometimes, dentists are maybe, I can tell you, having worked in a lot of offices, and sometimes, especially if the office isn't using a type of patient management software on their end that alerts if something's gone overtime. So some softwares, especially the orthodontic facing ones, they'll be like literally like a red light, like blinking, like your patient's overtime, bing, 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 hurry up. Sometimes honestly, I'm going to tell you, I was always very, very aware. Like I always checked, when did the case start? How long did we say it was going to be? And if something ran over, I would tell my office managers, I want to know. Put a giant sticker on here. At the beginning of the day, when we do our morning huddle, I want to know who on my list today has run overtime because I want to make them my VIP. I want to get them done. I like to keep promises. It doesn't much, at least do the best I can. So somebody that's running overtime for me, I'm going to do whatever I can do to get them in to be, convenient for them because, that's not fair. I wouldn't want that to happen to me, even if it's nobody's fault, right? So we want to make sure you're getting the best appointments, that maybe we're booking appointments out in advance, a few months, every 3-4 weeks to get this done, So in any case, and sometimes it means, we have to reevaluate the treatment plan. Why isn't this going as predicted? Okay, so you get the idea. So sometimes, honestly, the doctor may have no idea that it happened. And, especially if you're paid up and your revenue's in, they might not even notice, you're not necessarily behind or anything like that. But, we want you to finish because we want you to be satisfied. And if you're satisfied, you're going to probably send us friends and family, right? So, okay. So you get the idea. So how do you handle it? So first of all, listen, orthodontics is a long-term relationship. It's kind of like dating someone, Most medical procedures, you come in, you come out, you're done, 1 or 2 visits, a few weeks, a few months, whatever, done. Orthodontics can go 2 years, even longer. So it's a long-term relationship. We know that sometimes we're going to break up with patients. Our patients are going to break up with us more often. Maybe they have to move. Maybe the location isn't convenient anymore. Maybe the times aren't convenient. Maybe the personality is just not a good fit. It happens. So we're used to patients breaking up with us. That's totally normal. Matter of fact, it happens pretty frequently. Obviously you don't want it to be too frequently because it can get messy with giving refunds or partial refunds. How does that work? Insurances, it's complicated. We want you to be satisfied. But say it happens a couple times a month in orthodontist office. So they're ready for this conversation. It's just a matter that you need to initiate the conversation. So it really depends on what type of office this is. So, if this is a group practice or a DSO or a chain practice, I would just recommend that you want to talk to the office manager. My suggestion, the best way to handle it is to give the office a call in advance of your appointment. Say, hey, I've got an appointment on Friday. It's Monday. I want to let you know that we're really not that satisfied with the progress of so-and-so's case. We would like to have a meeting with the office manager and the doctor. Just put it out there because it might mean that they need to switch your appointment around. When people would just kind of Shanghai me with this, especially at a 3 or 4 o'clock appointment, I'm not very happy. And I'm pretty defensive, as an orthodontist, because that is the busiest time of my day. And if you want to have a meeting, let me know ahead of time. And we'll definitely build that into the schedule, but it may not be at 3 or 4 o'clock. Usually these meetings for these kind of appointments take some sitting down, some exam, we reevaluate, we take some progress x-rays. It's going to take me longer. So it's going to be a morning appointment. It's not going to be a Saturday. It's not going to be an afternoon or evening. So have respect for the doctor and for the office if this is something you want to talk about, and give them the opportunity to move your appointment around to a time that is where they can invest the time into giving you the care that they need to. Does that make sense? So giving your doctor a couple weeks notice on that would be great. Making sure that you've set up some time to talk to the doctor, and the office manager. And that's usually the way it works. Once you do that, the other thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to dig through your records and find a copy of the contract that you signed. So anytime, anything you do, there's a contract, right? You buy a car, there's a contract. You go to a school, there's a contract. So you start orthodontic treatment, there's a contract. So if you lost your contract, then you'll want to ask the office manager for a copy of the contract you signed. If you didn't sign a contract and they can't provide one, well, guess what? The ball's in your court. So that's a lucky thing for you. Because hopefully your doctor's smart enough to have contracts, because most do. And then it should have a section in there. What happens if you want to leave treatment early? If you want to discontinue, if you want to transfer, there should be a section in that contract for that. These contracts are already pre-built for this, knowing it's going to happen. Will you get a refund? Depends on what your contract says. So if the doctor claims that it's done, then no, you probably won't get a refund, even if you're not that satisfied, because if it's done, it's done. It's your word against theirs. Sure, you can always file a complaint with the state dental board or with your insurance company or both. Of course, I'm not advocating that you do that, but those are your rights to do that. If you're still not satisfied and if the doctor isn't meeting your needs. But most doctors will go out of their way to meet your needs if it is possible and to make you satisfied if it is possible. Now, let's get to what happened. So it all comes down to the doctor's notes. So if you aren't being compliant or your child's not being compliant, you're missing appointments. COVID's a gray area, so that's really nobody's fault. But beyond that, if you were missing appliance, you weren't wearing your elastics, you were breaking brackets, well, most likely it's going to end up costing you money to do this. So you're probably not going to get a refund, and you're going to have to go find another doctor. And you can go ahead and start interviewing other doctors and going in for consults. People do that all the time, where I get a patient coming in, they already have braces on, the doctor is some guy uptown or down the street, just not that satisfied, I want to get a second opinion. We do those consults all the time. Obviously, we don't want to be throwing our colleagues under the bus, or just giving facts. Hey, looks like brackets are placed right, looks like maybe you just need some elastics for a few months, And sometimes you can take that information and go back to your original doctor and be like, look, I went for a couple second opinion consults, and they basically said that we need to do X, Y, and Z. For the most part, if you do that, the doctors are going to be like, oops, okay, I kind of, dropped the ball on this patient. Let me white glove you, let me get you done. So, and they might say, maybe best that you do transfer, and it might cost you money to transfer to another doctor. Sometimes when you transfer to other doctors, if they don't use the same type of brackets, they're going to want to completely take your brackets off and put them back on. So like I said, most likely you're going to lose money on this transfer. So the best thing for you to do, if you can, is to stick with the same doctor. Just try to improve communication. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, the doctor is going to do whatever they need to do to accommodate you. It helps to be friendly, but firm in terms of what you want. So hopefully this was helpful. And hopefully no doctors are upset that I mentioned this. But patients need to know what their rights are. So, all right, thanks so much.